Steve has been a longtime friend and someone I'm really happy for at this stage of his career to be flourishing the way that he is out there. Coach, it's great to have you, and congratulations on another great season.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it, and I think your point that you made is well taken. We knew we were going to be good a year ago, didn't know we'd be 34-3 good, and there was a little bit of uncertainty and nervousness about this year's ball club, having lost so many parts to last year's club.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm going to be coming out with Dan Bonner to do the New Mexico-Vegas game, which will be on Saturday out in Albuquerque. You've got them, though, first up tomorrow in a game that I know is, from a conference standpoint, very, very important. The approaches of these two teams that rival yours at the top of the conference are diametrically different, but I see big-time players everywhere, Steve, and a lot of them are transfers, and you've had your success with them as well. To what do you believe, what are we to owe or attribute the success that the Mountain West has had? What do you think it's all about? Not just your team, but all these other teams that are doing so well. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Larry Cheyette's club, which I think has also been very good this season at Wyoming.
Tim, I think it starts as every league does with the players. We've got really good players in our league. Mm-hmm. And not only our team, but you look around to Vegas and New Mexico and even Colorado State, who's got a very good ball club.
Very good team. You're right.
We are laden with a cross-section of high school players, junior college players, and transfers. And we've got some great transfers in our league. And as you know, I guarantee you if UCLA could take back the three that are playing in this league, Stanbeck and Mosier at Vegas and Drew Garden at New Mexico, they would have a lot better basketball team. And we have had some wonderful success with transfers also. So I think it's just a makeup of how and who you recruit in this league. But also, Tim, you know, this league is laden with tradition. If you start looking at the team we play tomorrow night, New Mexico, the Lobos and the Pit, and Vegas with Tark and on. So this is a really good basketball league that I think people now across the country are saying, yeah, they are good.
Yeah.
All the teams.
Right. Now, you lost to Vegas at their place, but you managed to keep the game, I thought, where you wanted it. Your team has been really good at controlling tempo. New Mexico is sort of that kind of team, too, I think. Alford's team really passes it well. They've got good inside-outside scoring capability. There are times when they can be beaten down the floor. Do you see your team as the kind that can beat you in a variety of ways? In other words, if you want to slow somebody down like Vegas, you can. If you'd like to maybe speed them up, which might be the case against New Mexico, I don't know, you're capable of doing both?
I do believe we have the ability to score in a variety of ways, and I'm committed to saying that if you can't get easy baskets, you can't win. So you have to run. All teams run better at home than on the road. So we've got to selectively run against New Mexico. They're the deepest team in the league. They play 10 players, double-digit minutes. Nobody else in the league comes close to doing that. We've got 9 on scholarship and play 7.5. Vegas, for instance, they score 80 in the 80s at home. So our thought there was to not let it turn into a track meet. Here in San Diego, we've got to make sure we run, but we can't run and run for 40 minutes. Right now, New Mexico is the hottest team in our league, Tim. They've won 5 in a row since the loss to us in Vegas.
Right.
The closest has been the 10-point game that they just had with Wyoming. They've had a 42-point win, a 30-point win. So they're playing terrific right now.
You really have to defend the perimeter against them, too, because they're hot from out there.
They can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
They can shoot the ball. And that being said, the anchor for this team that I really think helps all their perimeter players get shots is Drew Garden.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a man and a half on him, he's so big and strong in the post, and to help him, as you know, then that opens up the pass out, the swing to the other side, and those perimeter guys get a lot of open jump shots.
You got a great guard combination, Coach. I'd like you to speak to them because I think they've been really dynamic all season long. Yeah, a mistake here or there. I know you had a tough turnover late the other night, but by and large, this has just been a really outstanding duel for you.
We are perimeter-oriented. Chase Tapley, who is one of the guys you're referring to, is our lone starter from a year ago. He was the 5th option a year ago, and now he's our 1 or 1A option. Scores a lot of ways. He can make shots, but he's a scorer. He's not just a catch-shoot player off the bounce, off the catch. And then Xavier Thames, our point guard, is a Washington State transfer who has made a seamless transition for us, really, when we had a 4-year starter, DJ Gay, who was so valuable a year ago, graduate. And X has come in and played really, really good basketball. He hurt his knee right before Christmas, and we thought it was going to be bad. It was a sprain of the medial collateral, and that set him back a little bit, but he's kind of come back. He wears a brace now. He'd like to shed, but he knows how to get into cracks, and he can find open people.
You know, when you have a really good team that has great expectations and they make a dent, as your team did in the tournament, getting to the second week, a lot of times we see this happen, Steve. You got complementary players moving into the potential of being high on the scouting report players the following year. I think you know where I'm going with this. Many times I've talked to coaches and they've said, well, you know, even though this team made it to the Final Four, my best team was the one that got knocked out, such and such, okay? What I'm saying is there are times when teams, maybe with lesser talent, but with some tournament experience, kind of get it, and their expectation levels are higher, and then they play to meet those expectations. Do you think this team is capable of being one of those kinds of teams?
I can tell you've done this for a long time. You know your X's and O's, and you've seen a lot of coaches and players come and go. And I think this year's team, Tim, I think your points are very well taken. Even though we only had on paper one returning starter, we had good players.
Yeah.
James Rahan played starter minutes, and we talked about Thames, who's Washington State. He stepped in. Tim Shelton's come back as a fifth-year senior, and he's moderately healthy with his knees. And we took a 4-year transfer, Garrett Green, who's got 1 year instant eligibility, and then the guy we haven't talked about, Jamal Franklin, has had a spectacular season for us. So we've got some pretty good pieces, but again, we're small. And our Achilles is probably our rebounding, our lack of rebounding, but we know how to win. They got used to winning. They expect that they will win, and they don't panic when stress happens. We were down 10-0 and 12-2 in the pit in New Mexico, and just settled in, and came back, and just, bits and pieces fought our way back in and won a hard-fought 75-70 game there. And that's been the mantra of our team. We think we can make some noise if and when we get to the tournament.
Well, let's just say this. I think the league is certainly going to get 3, and it probably deserves more than that. Don't you think?
I would agree with you. You look at what both Wyoming and Colorado State
absolutely
have done.
Totally agree.
They're both very, very good teams, and I do think that this league's got a chance to get more than 3 in. Obviously, things would have to happen down the stretch, but it's very possible.
Look, we're going to have a good time at the pit, Dan Bonner and myself. That game will be on CBS. I know your game is what's important in your mind. That's tomorrow at New Mexico, 10:15 Eastern Time. And frankly, I'm going to be keeping a very watchful eye on it, and we'll be talking about you even though you won't be there on Saturday. All right.
Well, I hope you're talking about us after an Aztec win as they go in. It'll be a great game and an atmosphere that if you come to a game in Viejas Arena, it truly is, Tim, happening and an event. And it's as good a basketball home court crowd as there is in the country. And people who have not been here would probably scratch their head and say it can't be true. You come here and you see our crowd, you'd say, this is spectacular.
I can't wait to do it. Steve, thanks.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate being on with you.
You got it. He's one of the best.